Hello you all, I'm BlaqueWitchYaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. And this video was oddly, highly requested. I can see why. Just because the world that we live in when it comes to spirituality and match with social media, there can be a lot that goes on, especially for people who are just making a new turn on their spiritual journey. Because like I say, you've been on your spiritual journey since the day you were born. And I say that because I feel, and even myself, I can face this sometimes. It doesn't really bother me now. But when it comes to spirituality, a lot of people tend to make it like a competition, or they try to constantly correct people or belittle people when it comes to their spirituality. And one thing I hate hearing, and it literally makes my skin crawl, is when people who've been practicing their spirituality ever since the early 2000s, taking over for the 99 and the 2000, or just been aware of it since they were a child, they love to shout these new age spiritualists, new age spirituality, when it's always going to be new age spirituality, because people are constantly kind of having that aha moment when it comes to spirituality, even though they've been on a journey for a long time. And they always tend to seem let me be nice, to belittle them in somehow, some way. These new age spiritualists swear they know stuff about manifestation, and it's like, and I do, because it works for me. I've seen it happen for me. And I always want to remind people that there are more than one ways to skin a cat. So your spirituality is not going to look like my spirituality. Your spirituality should not look like my spirituality, because it's you. We all have different spirits, have different souls. Of course, there's a basis that we kind of all abide by, but you really have to do what works for you. And that's where trusting your spiritual instincts come into play, because there's always going to be people who try to correct what you're doing. Or sometimes you can watch video for inspiration or just to see what somebody else do, and then you leave the video feeling like you just got bullied because they were indirectly throwing shade at you, and you're like, I came to you for help, and here I am feeling more confused than I was when I clicked on the video. So that's why, for one, I always say be careful who you watch. The person you watch should always be inspiring, not making you feel like you don't know what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you do know what you are doing, and you never want to try to copy and paste someone else's spirituality just because it looks pretty. Someone may have all the crystals, all the statues, all the candles, all the ankhs, all the everything, but with you, you may not even need that on your journey. You may just need you, yourself, and a white candle. Of course, it's good to have those tools and supplies, but don't feel like you gotta go spend your whole check on it just because it looks cute to someone else, because the power is within you, and all of those outside tools are just to enhance whatever you are doing from the source within yourself. Always remember, you are the source of anything that you want to create or do. You are the source to make it happen. Of course, the source is what is the universe, whatever you believe in, the universe, God, the Orisha, your spirit guides, your ancestors, whoever you connect with, you and them are the source. So y'all got to have a little chit chat to see what works for you, and as long as you're connecting with them, you know what you are doing. So don't let no TikToker, no YouTuber, no Instagrammer tell you, y'all up here burning candles next to crystals. Who does that? Y'all need to burn a candle outside, right in the middle of grass, holding 3 bay leaves and all that stuff. Whatever you do that works for you, keep it going, and just keep in contact with yourself. And just to give you guys an everyday example, let's do diets. What diet works for one person isn't going to work for the other. I've seen a lot of people do keto. I was like, dang, they losing weight, they looking good, let me try keto. When I tried keto, all of my hair fell out. I had bald spots this big just because it made me vitamin D deficient. So of course, not saying keto is bad, but it just wasn't meant for me. And that's the same thing when it comes to spirituality, spiritual practices, whatever. This person may be initiated, but being initiated may hold back your creativity. That's how I feel. That's why I'm not initiated. Not saying it's bad, but I just know it'll hold back my creativity and my connections that I have to different things that works for me, and I don't want to be limited. Now, the initiated people probably know how to rock and stock something and really make things happen. That's not creating anything detrimental or saying anything bad about their spirituality. Is just not for me. You may look at me like, Black Witch got too much going on, I don't need all them crystals, I just want my journal and I could keep it moving. That's what works for you. You always have to make sure you prioritize what works for you. And also keep in mind too, spirituality doesn't have a look. You can meet someone that look like a go hard Christian, and the next thing you know, y'all up there talking about which herbs y'all use for y'all manifestations. Like, it doesn't have a look, it doesn't have a trend. Of course you can look at some people and be like, she burns sage. Just how you probably look at me with this shirt on, which you can buy from BlaqueWitchYaya.com, and you be like, okay, so she's spiritual, but it doesn't have to have a certain look to it. You don't have to grow dreadlocks. You don't have to go natural. You don't have to become vegan. You don't have to rock crystals all on every single inch of your body and get your spirit guide and your ancestors tattooed on your arm. Always remember that it shouldn't be a look. It's just a being that you have within yourself and something that you have access to. It comes in any look, form. You just never know. People just rep it differently. But just make sure that you are in tune with yourself. You are in full trust of yourself, because there's always going to be someone that's telling you, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're doing this wrong, y'all crazy for doing this. And I really don't like people who belittle people who see a post that someone make it feel like they got to make a post saying, well, they don't know what they talk about, why would you do this? Maybe that works for somebody else. For example, with the manifestation trend of writing it down 3 times in some type of math equation, I ain't good at math. I ain't good with writing stuff down consistently. I like to write it down one time and just read it. But for other people, that's really working. Is the trend stupid? Am I going to call it unnecessary because it doesn't work for me? No, it's just not for me. So you take what sticks and just leave the rest for everybody else that sticks with them. Also remember as well, everything isn't like a conspiracy theory. Some things just happen. Life happens. When you have a bad day, you're having a bad week, something bad happens, you get in an accident. It's not always a spell. It's not always a spiritual attack. It's not always karma. It's not the universe mad at you. You got in a car accident because you were speeding. You got in a car accident because you live in Florida and we can't drive. Like, don't think everything is like, oh my gosh, why did this happen to me? I'm spiritual. You still live in a physical world and you're going to face physical things. If you get fired from your job, someone didn't put you in a jar. You just got fired because the company's downsizing or whatever it may be. We still are going to face physical world challenges. Just because you are spiritual doesn't mean you're just vibrating above everybody else and you're too good to have anything bad happen to you. Always remember that as well, because like I said in my previous video, it is easy to get paranoid when it comes to spirituality. You're like, I burned a protection candle. Why am I feeling like I'm being attacked in this board meeting? You know, like, you're still going to have to face everyday things, but due to the fact that you are spiritual and you are in tune, you could probably get through it or overcome it easier than the average person, because you know how to connect with yourself and make things happen and create your own reality. Also remember as well, when it comes to spirituality, not everybody has to have a popular spiritual gift. And I say that because a lot of people are like, I want to read tarot, I need to read tarot, da, da, da. And you can kind of see that when people read tarot online, and you're kind of like, this not hitting, or they may not see what they know what they're talking about. Just because some people do like to hop on trends of tarot because it looks cool to hold up cards. For example, and I just use myself as an example, not to pinpoint anybody else. For me, I know how to read tarot on myself. I am aware that I don't have the patience that is necessary to read other people like one-on-one. I could probably do pick a cards on YouTube, but I know I don't have the patience to read other clients. Some people may ignore that and just be like, well, I want the money, so I'm about to read people. Also, quick break. I don't read tarot for people. So if you see a fake page of mine DMing you saying I'm feeling an urge from spirit and you need to get a reading for me, that's not me. I don't do tarot. I don't DM people first. I only reply to DMs if necessary. I really don't even like DMs. I wish I could turn off my DMs. But if it's a question that I need to reply to, I will reply to it. The only time I will DM you first if I'm doing a giveaway and you won the giveaway, and I'm replying to you saying, hey, you won. And some of you guys have seen that because a lot of you guys have won my giveaways. But this is just a break. I don't do tarot for people. So watch out for fake pages. All of my social media is on the screen somewhere. Everything is BlaqueWitchYaya. No dot, no underscore, no exclamation point, no 2 E's, no 2 A's. Everything is BlaqueWitchYaya. Back to the message. So I don't read tarot for people because I know I don't have the patience to guide people through a reading. And I see my boyfriend, the Baron, who does do tarot for people because he has the patience of a golden egg. Oh my gosh. He has the patience to be like, okay, so you want to ask another question about this house that you say you don't get? Okay, so let me explain it again for the 4th time. Like, I don't have that I'm like, you know what I'm talking about. Don't just ask questions to ask questions. Bye. So basically, when you're really in tune with yourself and you know yourself, you will be able to figure out what your ashe is and how it needs to be applied. It may not be a one-on-one personable gift that you share. It may be, you know what? I'm good at hairstyling. You're a good hairstylist. You may not see that as a spiritual gift, but just think about what you're doing on the spiritual aspect. You're braiding someone's hair. You're making them feel pretty. You're making them look in the mirror and be like, oh, look at me, I'm so cute. That energy is going to be connected with you because you were the source that made that happen for that person. So when I say it's not always a popular gift, it may not be divination. It may not be a medium. You could be a hairdresser, even though that seems like an everyday thing, but you're boosting people's confidence. You're making them feel pretty. You're just giving them that boost that they need. You may work as a counselor. You may not think, well, that's not a spiritual gift. You're healing people. Not everything is going to have a candle, a crystal, and some sage. Some spiritual gifts are exercised in the physical aspect, in the physical world. So when you want to know your purpose, when you want to know your gift, just think about what you do on an everyday basis that brings you joy and that brings other people joy as well. But I hope this video helped you guys out. Just always remember to trust yourself. Like my boyfriend says in his videos, trust the you and universe, because at the end of the day, you guys. So when you hear those people yelling and screaming at cameras because they new age spiritualists are doing stuff wrong, do what works for you. Don't let that break your confidence. You are on your spiritual journey on your own, so you really have to be connected with yourself, the universe, spirit guides, ancestors, whoever you connect with. So just keep that confidence going. Keep building your confidence. If you know it works for you, don't let somebody else tell you that it's not working or you doing something wrong, because you like, well, I manifested this and bada bing, bada boom, here it is. So obviously I'm doing something right. Just keep doing what works for you and you will see changes and growth happen along the way. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Like I always say, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. Until next time, you guys, ashe, baby.